Hello, everyone. Welcome to Title 24, presented by NBC Sports. I'm Ricky Carmichael, alongside the man, Ryan Villopoto. We got to thank our sponsors, United Motorsports, Boxo USA, and Quad Lock Case. We appreciate you guys, and got a good show on hand today. A lot to talk about. The opening race at Pala Fox Raceway this past weekend, Pro Motocross Championship. Before we get to that, RV, some Memorial Day festivities for myself, Sunday and Monday. Had a good time. I went to a couple barbecues. You were at Pala Saturday, but before we talk about Pala, dude, how was your Colorado ride? Tell us some of what was the best day in the saddle.
Yeah, no, it was we left out of Gateway, Colorado. So I was there for 2 ride days, 90 miles on the new RMAX side by side, and then the next day was 130 miles on the new Tanneray 700, Yamaha 700. So it was great, man. I had never really been on a real adventure ride like that, and actually been in the saddle from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. with about 5 camera stops, but we had some amazing views, and got to ride next to the Colorado River and down into Moab. So, all the boys over at Yamaha did a phenomenal job, put us up in a great resort. Food was good. So drinks were flowing. No, it was a phenomenal time.
Yeah. Hey, those days, like when you're doing a couple 100 miles a day, like adventure riding like that, I think I didn't expect them to be that long or feel that long. They're not always easy. Fun, but not easy, right?
No, not easy by no means. Like, normally for me, what was the big thing is that, dude, I had my knee braces on and my helmet on for like 8 hours. And I'm like, dude, normally it's on and off,
Yeah.
get your motos done and it's over, and you pull off, and I hadn't shaved, and my beard was just covered in dust, and it was in your teeth. And but yes, it was good, a lot of fun, but it's not for the faint of heart, I wouldn't say.
No, it's not. Did you guys, well, first, how many of you were in the group, like on the rides? How many of
So
you?
we had quite a few. We had myself and Damon Bradshaw, Mike Ulrich from Yamaha, and then we had 2 camera guys, and I think after that there was 6 media members.
Oh, wow.
That was with us. So along that being said, camera guys always want to get their shots. We got some amazing shots, but as that said, it slows down the day. Like that 130 definitely takes a long time, but well worth the shots that we were able to get. It was some beautiful country.
You think you could, like, looking back, do you think you could have got away with not wearing your knee braces?
Dude, I don't know. Like the stuff we were riding, I don't know. I'm just
Did
a
you
knee
have to
brace
dab
guy.
much?
Yeah, we did a lot of fire roads, and you get Damon out there, and he's really accustomed to the T7. He's got tons of hours on the Yamaha the Tanneray 700, and he was just wearing knee pads. For me, we're hauling on fire roads, sliding around. We did some technical section stuff for camera stuff. So
Right.
I don't know. I think I would probably wear my knee braces. I'd opt to wear them, especially because I still have a bad left knee.
Yeah, there you go. Whoa, I didn't realize you. Yeah, that probably a good call for sure. And you never know. And plus, a lot of the knee braces are so thin these days. So, but
It's just comfort, man. Like I've spent my whole life in knee braces. So if I'm on a motorcycle, I put them on it unless it's a 110. But if I'm racing a 110, I still wear my knee braces.
Oh, definitely that. Definitely that. Well, cool. Hopefully everyone, all of our viewers, listeners, had a great Memorial Day. I know I certainly did. Hopefully the weather was good for most people. But we go into the round 18, the SMX World Championship. That'll be round 1 of the Pro Motocross Championship again at Pala. And I don't know, I'd love to hear what you have to say about Jett Lawrence. If it was a total surprise, he joins an elite group, the premium class, with one of the guys being yourself, me as well, going 1-1 in his rookie debut. Here you go. We're watching a replay of the starts. Guy was just absolutely crushing it. I believe that was Moto 1. Didn't even look like it was really hard for him. He got a good lead. Nope, that's Moto 2 because Chase is behind him. But
Yep.
Nevertheless, I don't think it was a surprise. You know what his abilities was. We talked about it last week on our show. What did you see, and what were your thoughts after being there live and witnessing it?
Well, I think, like I said, we have talked about this, and Jett being, honestly, man, that first moto was pretty unbelievable. The way he was riding, I rewatched it on TV. Everything looked like it was coming to Jett in slow-mo, honestly. Yeah. I know in the second moto they had made some bike changes, and I think it was the wrong direction from what I heard.
Right. Wait, was this after? Was this between moto 1 and 2?
Yep. After first moto, yeah, they made some adjustments for the track for the upcoming conditions. I had heard, didn't clearly look like it was the right direction, but clearly he was able to fend off Chase. It was a lot closer moto than moto 1, but still, just I think from his first gate drop on a 450, really in our series, not Motocross of Nations, but this is his first gate drop, fending for a championship, a title in the 450 class. Dude, there's nothing I can really say that he's just amazing, honestly. Like Chase rode good in that second moto. I'm not going to take that away from him, but as a rookie coming in, the pressure of a 450, the pressure of a championship, of a 450 championship, like, man, he and I know he rides good at Paula, but it was phenomenal. It was amazing to see.
Some notables that I want to mention before, we go a little more into RV and Sexton. Dude, I like what I saw out of Coop. I really did. I mean, coming off that concussion protocol, injury, getting your mind right, not spending a lot of time on the bike because he was recovering. There you go. This is watching him, and he was just getting hounded by his teammate Aaron Plessinger there. But Coop he's as cool as a cucumber, dude. He doesn't normally break, so he just rides his race, and he's an expert at blocking and very intuitive on knowing where the guy behind him goes. So he's able to shut the door, not in a dirty way, but very savvy and precise way. But I thought he did good. I thought that he hung in late in the moto when I was kind of anticipating him to fall back a little bit. I thought AP did well, and Dylan Ferrandis too. He's somewhat of your teammate on that Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha and that whole program. To come out taking as much time off as he did. I mean, he hasn't raced in a while.
Since Daytona, right? I think Daytona was his.
Daytona. Remember, he got hurt.
Well, yeah, he didn't race, but that was the last race I think we saw him show up for, was Daytona.
Yeah, and he took a lot of time off the bike, but a lot of those guys did really, really well. And listen, and the thing about the thing about Jett, you don't know how hard he was trying that first race, but it's not like Jett put 30 seconds on these guys. They were close.
No, they were very close. And I do have to make a point. I know the tracks were a topic for me and you last week. How do we slow these down? Injuries, things like that. That was a big topic. But that being said, if for everybody that watched Paula, I could say a very tough, very, very tough track. Paula's one of those tracks that you're not going straight for very long. There's lots of dog legs in it. I kind of watched it looked at it as a European style track with lots of ruts. The track deteriorated, as you've seen, that guys had to really be smart. They couldn't just bonsai anything. I mean, there was a couple sections on the track that they could just let or completely hang out, but you're really watching the whole track. These guys had to be pretty precise, and back to how do we keep these guys from getting hurt and the speeds. I thought the Paula National was a really good track for that. You really had to stay on your toes. You had to pick good line choices, and the track, you just, like I said, you just couldn't hammer the track. You had to ride the track smart. You had to have a good setup on the track because it was very physically demanding.
Yeah, we got some great questions today from our fans, man. We'll get to that a little bit, and it'll answer some of the analysis I feel that RV and I will have on the Jett and on the Jett and Chase battles and how's it going to go down later on. So I'll save that. But yeah, to your point, I thought that track was good. They had to be very, very precise, and you watch. That was what was so cool about the second motos. I was watching it on Peacock even this morning, kind of playing it back, watching that second moto. And yeah, you had to be so precise. And like you were talking about, riding on the foot pegs and standing up, having good balance, picking the right lines. You couldn't override it. And if you did, it'd be bad. So overall, I think like to what we talked about last week, it slowed it down. Of course, there were some fast sections. There's going to be on all the tracks, but it wasn't like wide open everywhere. That was, yeah.
And I think you really had to plan your passes. Like if you were any bit close to a rider speed wise, being that the track is a little bit one line, which we hear a lot of, sometimes we hear in our press conferences, like, hey, the track's one line, but you know, like I said, I'm going to reference Europe a lot. There's a ton of tracks over there that are very, that are very one line. It just makes you have to be a smarter racer. You have to really plan your passes out, and man, you got to be tough because you're going to have to eat roost while you're planning those passes out. So I think it was a good racetrack.
Yeah, no doubt. Moving along to the 250. In my opinion, listen, well, first of all, I didn't know that that Hunter was injured. So, you know, maybe it wasn't his true potential and what he's really got in the bag. I think we'll have to wait till a later date on that. I need to do my homework, talk to some of his people and see where he's at. But nevertheless, he got a great start, and I want to leave the rest up to you. I'm gonna talk about Danger Boy a little bit here. Listen, I feel like, you know, he is in the position that you or I were in, RV, in our first rookie season. Did people think we could win? Yeah, I think that they did, but did they think that we were a threat? I mean, I knew you were a threat your rookie year just because, you know, I had been through it, but people that haven't raced, dude, if I'm Hunter Lawrence, I better keep my eye on Danger Boy, dude, because I only think he's going to get better.
I agree with you. I do have to agree with you. I think that after watching the first two motos there at Paula, Danger Boy has kind of inserted himself as a top three guy with a good start. I know he had a fall in Moto 1, was still able to come back up and make some good passes, put himself up, and I ended up with second overall on the podium. So we're watching a replay right now for the ones that are going to watch on YouTube. I think is that Tom Biel or Max Vohland, one of the two, somebody on a KTM there.
Yeah, Moto 2,
but I think, you know, Danger Boy is going to have to focus on himself. And then like Hunter with a bad start first moto, right? It put him in around 10th lap 1. And being that the track, like I said, was a little bit more one-lined and a little hard to pass on, he had to very consciously and make mindful passes and work his way up to the front. So scenarios like that, I think, is where Deegan can reap the benefits of, you know, because Hunter's a great starter, but he's not as, I don't think he's as good as Jett sometimes on the line. So putting himself in a good position is going to be key, because you're going to have these guys and Deegan coming for him, right? Like, I think you're right. I think people need to watch him.
Let me ask you this. So we'll role play here. Do you think that how much do you think that Deegan can learn from Hunter? And if say Hunter keeps getting a good start and beating him, like how fast do you think that he can learn from Hunter? You think he'll be able to raise the game?
Honestly, I think that that Hayden's going to be able to learn really quickly. I think the thing about Haiden that I watch is he's not afraid to let it hang out when need be, but also too his just average pace, his average riding, what he's doing. He when he sees an opening on a rider, he doesn't second guess or think about it. There's an opening and he takes the pass, he takes the move, and I think that's what I think why he is so successful out there with moving through the pack is he's not worried about what guy's in front of him, what number, who it is, RJ Hampshire that's been in the class for a while, or any of these bigger names. He considers himself one of those big names now, and is taking the moves when he sees them.
I think another guy, and this is just, listen, I still need like another two, 3 races. I think RV to start tagging dudes is like, hey, this is the guy to beat right now. But RJ did awesome. I mean, he's always made some small mistakes along the way, as you know, I hate mentioning that just because I know how hard he tries, but you know better than anyone. And this is we're watching a replay. I believe he's in front of Joe Shimoda there, and he's riding well, but it's always like he's not anticipating. It seems like to me he's overriding right here. He falls in a little tight right-hand corner. He's able to get up and doesn't even get passed by Joe. But I just feel like if I was advising him to like try to anticipate, hey, or don't trust that front end as much coming in the corners or whatever. There's 2 crashes that he had in that second moto where he lost his front end, and we're going to watch it here. This is second corner, and this is easy for this can happen to anybody. He's balled up right there. Looks like he goes from one rut to another and just probably loses his front end. But I think if he can eliminate that, if he could work on that and just be more aware, I think he has a shot at this championship.
He does. I do agree with you on some degree, but also too. But the big question, the big thing is the but side of it is you go from a first place Moto 1 phenomenal ride by RJ, and then yes, we had some crashes, and those are in the second moto, not 1, not 2, 3, right? So in a scenario like that, racing guys like Haiden, like Hunter especially, you cannot afford, I mean, okay, 1 tip over, you come back, you get a 3rd, a 4th, 5th, but man, I think it was 111. That's going to be a hard feat to win a championship when you go out and your first moto is a 1st and the second moto is an 11th. Like that's a huge point spread. So to your point, yeah, he's going to have to settle down, I guess, not push it as much, because I think he is, if his 95% speed will put him, it might not win it, but the race, but I think it puts him up in the 2nd, 3rd position and 4th position. And that's where he's going to need to be. He's going to 2 motos a day. You've got to stay consistent. You can't have a 1st and an 11th.
Yeah, totally. Hey, I got to give you some massive credit. You were right about Maximus Vohland. He was riding really well. Really well. Do you anticipate him to ride just as well the rest of the series, or?
I anticipate him to ride. I knew he was going to ride well at Paula, and he did the first moto. Second moto was okay. I think he had a little bit of a mishap in that second moto too. I think Paula, he rode well. Hangtown, he's also going to ride well. Those are the ones that I can sit here and say, I don't know if you can guarantee, but those are the ones that I know he's going to do well at. And then as we go east, Colorado, a little more kind of like Hangtown. So, but then once we get East Coast, High Point, Unadilla, all the other style of tracks, that's where I'm going to be looking for Max to be better, or to be more where he's at Paula and Hangtown in Colorado, because those West Coast dirt, West Coast tracks, they develop a bit different than the East Coast outdoor tracks. And, we know he's familiar with that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep doing what he's doing in these first 3 races once we head east.
Another thing, I mean, you, like I said, you were there, and just like from watching it on Peacock and what I can tell. So we talked about Hunter, we talked about Danger Boy, and we talked about RJ. There's other guys up there too that I feel are going to do really well. And from basically 3rd on to, I would say, 8th. So you got Vohland, Ryder D, Joe, Justin Cooper. I mean, there's other guys that are there that I think if you watch that, it's going to be like musical chairs. And I really feel like it's going to be start dependent for a lot of those guys right now, early on, because they're so similar in speeds. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So like going to Hangtown, I'm like, okay, so you take Ryder D, he gets the whole shot. He's one of those guys that has 5th, 3rd to 5th place speed, but if he gets to lose that track position, no, that's what I'm seeing all those guys.
I agree. I said watching the motos in the lights class, like, man, 1st through 12.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
I think 1st through 11th or something were all factory bikes. There's 11 guys out there that were all on factory bikes. So looking at it, it's like it's it's definitely a dogfight. You know, it's probably one of the more exciting, even over the 450, just because it's I think so deep with these guys, and they're so close. To your point, is it's not like we have any real separation from these guys. And maybe Hunter, if he's going to be the separating guy from second, but from second to 11, 12, man, those are all factory guys. And I was sitting in the mechanics area, man, watching down there, and it's like you'd watch first place come by, you'd watch second come by, okay, a little bit of a gap, and then from second to 11th or 12th, it was just like NASCAR track. Every time you turn around, your head's whipping by mechanics area, because that's how close those riders were. So it's going to be really going to come down to starts.
Yeah.
You know, and putting yourself in good track position, because dude, these guys are all going for it for 30 minutes.
Yeah. And I think like and before we have a ton of questions that I want to talk about. And the reason I don't want to spend too much time on the 250 and 450, just because a lot of these, we have some great questions this week. It's gonna present to give our analysis on what's going down in this stuff. But you know, like I saw a little bit of chatter about, oh, it's going to be a boring season, blah blah blah, but it's not. The people that you just talked about, that 3rd to 11th is so tight. So for me, as a fan, when I'm not there, you know, doing the broadcast, it's fun to watch, because I love seeing some of these younger guys try to beat the older guys and progress. I love watching those guys get better and better, and watch their confidence rise, and maybe if they made a mistake one weekend, they fixed it for the following weekend. So there's a lot to look forward to. There really is, both in both classes, dude.
There is. No, and I think, you know, we're still leaving out, like, Jeremy Martin had 2 horrible motos. So throw him in there. Marchbanks, probably once we get East Coast, once he gets speed underneath of him, he can throw it in too. I think one of the Husky riders, was it Swoll or Hawkins, ended up on the side of the track with, you know, holding his elbow. So there's another factory rider that is out, or not out, but was out of Paula, let's say. So we're still missing 3 or 4 guys that are that are capable.
Yeah, we got guys like Faulkner still benched. Maybe he'll be coming back. Hopefully, that'd be great. He's always fun to watch.
Hammaker. Yeah. So we still have some guys that the field for the lights class is even going to get deeper once we get all of our guys on the line.
Yeah, that's awesome. Over the weekend, I was online checking out our partners at United Motorsports. I was talking with Ray Butts over there as well, and man, they got a great website. Remember, if you want 10% off, it's site-wide. The promo code is Title24. So hit that promo code to get you 10% off. Like, again, it's site-wide, and it's unitedmotorsports.com. Of course, Quadlock Case, quadlockcase.com as well. Check them out. Great company, young group of guys that are running the show over there. Great Aussie guys, and they got some really cool stuff. Check out their new magnet car, their car mount, pretty cool, and it charges too, I believe. So that's awesome. Of course, Boxo USA. My internet went out, of course, on a holiday weekend. My wife and I were started a new series, and we get like 2 episodes in, and the internet just goes down. So had to go.
What's the series? I'm always looking for a show to watch. What's the new series?
Yeah, Goliath. Have you seen Goliath?
Okay,
it's on a competitor's. It's on a competitor streaming network. We're not going to talk about that, but it's pretty good. But so get over to boxousa.com. The organization and their boxes are unbelievable. They make a great product. And again, I think we talked about it at the beginning, the first couple episodes. Their warranty, it's lifetime warranty. All you got to do is take a picture, send it back, and they will send you a new tool. So check partners out. We appreciate you guys for jumping on and enjoying the ride. Anyone else that wants to be a partner in Title 24, just slide into the DM. That leads us to the Quadlock question of the week. And it comes from Christian Ritter. And she says, I believe it's Christian. If not, I'm sorry. So Christian says, are you surprised by Deegan's performance? And the reason that I picked this as the winner, and you know what to do, Christian, slide into the DM. We'll get you guys all set up and lined up with we'll get you lined up a quad lock and take care of you. But so for me, the reason that this is the winner is because we can elaborate on it. No, I'm not surprised. The reason is because we talked about it a little bit earlier on in the show today. When I see him, I think of myself. I think of you, RV, guys that have come up and just they find a way to get the job done. Through the Supercross season this year, when he made mistakes, rarely did he make the same mistakes twice. I've seen him out at the Star facility a couple times, and he's out there putting in the work. I mean, everybody is working hard. I think that was Justin. No, that's Deegan right there. Deegan, we were showing Deegan.
Yeah, he actually caught Reynolds' foot with his front wheel, just popped it out of the rut.
Oh, there you go. For some reason, I thought that was Cooper. But the reason that I'm not surprised is because of what I just said. I watched it all Supercross season. Yeah, he didn't get a win, but he ran up front and he made the adjustments. Since it's so hard to do that for a guy who's so much hype around him, for him to be able to manage that off the track and then still go out and answer the bell on the track, that's pretty impressive to do. It's really hard to do. RV could tell you, I can tell you, and to have that much outside noise and not let it affect you. This guy has a really, really bright future. I put him alongside of the guys like Jett Lawrence, Chase Sexton, that younger generation that just does certain things on the motorcycle. So great question, Christian. We appreciate you being a loyal listener and viewer. What do you think about that? Are you surprised in the performance, RV?
I'm not. No, Hayden's been riding good all year. And even last year, as a real true rookie this year, he got his feet wet last year in some outdoors, showed that he had the speed. I think that clicked in his brain that he's one of the guys, right? And went to work off season and, showed up with no rock unturned. I think he rode Supercross phenomenal, made really, like you said, made a few mistakes, but didn't make them again, really. And just kept building on that. And honestly, I think mentally, he's a good racer too. Watching him race, he makes good decisions. It seems he doesn't rush his decisions very quick either, like you would expect a rookie. So I think the future is pretty bright is very bright for Haiden. The team's, like you said, working very hard. Seems like the bike's working really well for him. And honestly, he's probably one of the fitter guys on Star right now. So watching him 15, 20, 25-minute mark, the kid's still going for it, right? So that's what you kind of need in that 250 class, especially your first year, is to have that dig, have that grit, and just keep pushing to that finish line, because a lot of these guys just start to kind of waver a little bit towards the end, and you can make some passes towards the ends of the motos, and that's what I saw. He had a couple mistakes, fell over, but just kept pushing and put himself up into two great moto finishes for second overall. Got it. Yep, good stuff, Christian. Appreciate the question. You are the Quad Lock Question of the Week winner. Like I said, get over into our DMs at Title 24, and we will forward you on to the crew at Quad Lock Case, and they will get you dialed. Thank you very much for your support. Next question, and I've seen this person. This person might have had a Quad Lock Question of the Week in the past. RV, it's N_J_P. And this question, I want your analysis on this and opinion on this. He says, Jett looked cooked at the end of Moto 2. Do you think this will be an issue over the season? Take it away. Okay. So, first moto, or first real two motos, 450 class. Gnarly track. It wasn't very hot out. I think it was like 75 degrees. So it was good temperature. I wouldn't expect him not to be a little bit cooked after his first real two motos, an hour break in between, in between motos. We were watching second moto here with Chase, trying to chase down Jett, and they stayed pretty close the rest of this whole moto. But No, I don't, that doesn't concern me at all from Jett. I think, like I said before, when we started the show, I heard they made some spec changes for Moto 2 and maybe not in the right direction. And he was still able to manage it. Right. So I think, on a very tough condition, tough track, little mistake right there by Jett. And, they were pushing the limits there. Definitely you can see a different moto we're watching right now. That the replay that we were just watching, a different set of circumstances compared to first moto, right? First moto, Jett could do no wrong in that first moto. And second moto, a bit closer, but he was still able to manage it. And like I said, even with potentially a wrong spec change, a wrong direction, he was able to manage that moto and still get the win. So, I think that his body is now knows what that feels like. 2 motos in the 450 class. I think we might see Jett waver a little bit, but I think with Jett's talent and the work they put in, that from the outside looking in, we may never see that. So honestly, I don't think that's a big concern. I know the kid's fit. The kid rides. To me, the Jett is like he's right. It's Matrix form. Everything that's coming towards him while watching him ride it's almost in slow-mo. I was talking to Townley. Townley called me yesterday. FaceTime audioed me. Yes. Yeah. We were talking about Jett, and Ben was just like, the kid is, he just, the kid, he said, Townley said, the kid is just on a different level when it comes mentally and what he sees on the motorcycle compared to most. So I don't think that's going to be a concern, to be honest.
There you go. Perfect. All right. I'll answer this next one. It's from Swartz 104. Swartz 104 asks, honest thoughts on Ryder future in racing. No nice guy crap. So I guess you're talking about Ryder DiFrancesco. And I
read that. I read that one. I didn't understand that one either. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I'll take this one. And I like what Ryder brings to the table. He's had a little slow of a start, I will say, but I do feel he's had so much success throughout his career. I feel once he gets his feet underneath him in the pro ranks and runs up front week in and week out, I believe he is one of the younger kids coming up, young riders coming up. He has the ability to adapt and be a front runner all the time. I'm not, listen, everyone tuning in to Title 24, listens to RV and I, and who watch Monster Energy Supercross, I ain't no nice guy, and I'll make the hard calls when I need to. I will say I've expected a little more, but I also don't know the whole backstory. I don't know him, like if he's been injury struck or whatever, but I still believe in the kid. I think he has a great future. He's young too, everybody. He's not, he's not 25 years old. He's a young kid. He's also growing a lot. He was very, very small throughout his career. I mean, look about a guy like AC. His whole career, he was small. In the last 4 years, he's just rocketed up. Imagine learning to ride a motorcycle or do anything at what? I'm 5'6", 5'7", 5'7.5" when I've been drinking. 5'7.5" when I've been drinking, but
that's right.
He's going through a phase, and it's hard, to when you've been knocked down, it's hard to get back going. So I think he'll be here for a while. I think he's got a promising career for sure. He just needs to get more races under his belt. He just has so much experience. So that's what I think.
I think so too. I think Ryder ran up front around 4 through 6 there for 12 to 14 minutes. The other person we haven't mentioned is Chance Hymas, around that same, came up the same as an amateur. Chance ran up front too for a bit. Look, we're not all of these kids are going to be Jetts, or let's put Haiden in that category now. Where they just come out and establish themselves very quick. Like we have to talk a little bit about how long has RJ been in the class? Some of the Justin Cooper, a lot of these guys have been in the class for a long, long time. And I think that guys like Chance Hymas, Ryder, okay, yeah, you could say it was a little bit of a slow start. We've seen some very positive things out of both those young riders. And like I said, wait till they get their feet underneath of them.
Right.
You know, and I think, like I said, not everybody can be a Jett, or let's call it Haiden, like I said, where they just comes out and everything clicks right away, right? So they're racing some veteran guys out, a lot of veteran guys out there. And, you know, I think what you can look at it from a fan's perspective is to see, can they run the pace for the first 12, 15 minutes? And Chance and Ryder both did that. So now on a very technical, tough track. So I think, let's say we go to a race, Hangtown or Colorado or any one of these other nationals, and they're feeling 100%. Everything's on, everything's clicking for both of them. Nothing can go wrong with the motorcycle, meaning like they're just, they think it handles great that day. And you're going to have days like that. I think you put both of those kids up inside the top, you know, 4 through 8.
Yeah.
Both motos. And then those are great things to build off of after that, confidence wise.
Yeah, no doubt. Dude, Jeff Stanton's son, Torin, he chimes in, and he's a good question. He asks, what are some of the toughest obstacles transitioning from Supercross to motocross? And for me, I wouldn't say, RV, that transition from Supercross to motocross, it wasn't necessarily the obstacles, but it was the speed and not having to be so precise, right? I feel like in Supercross, obviously the mile per hour is a lot slower. There's a little bit more precision, much harder to hang it out. And if you do, you don't get away with it quite as often. That was always the biggest thing that I noticed, like going from Supercross to motocross and testing like in between Supercross and motocross. So like for you, was there a certain obstacle?
I would say certain. I agree with that. Speeds are so much higher, so things are coming at you a lot quicker. So you're got to get your eyes to bounce and focus different points on the track a lot quicker than you do Supercross. And then also too, getting your body used to the really kind of the hard hits, a lot of the acceleration bumps and the way the tracks develop. Like, you know, you'll probably find that after Paula, a lot of these guys are like, man, I haven't felt like this in a long time. And then you get 2 or 3 races in, and on Sunday or Monday when you wake up, you're like, okay, now I feel more like myself. But after Paula, you're like, man, have I been training? You know, like you're like, man, I'm sore. There's parts of my body that haven't been sore in a long time. And I think that those are the things you got to get used to, along with bike setup. Like, a lot of these guys, like with our racing, we don't have a ton of, as you know, we don't have a ton of testing time. So a lot of these guys, they're going to use the first 2-3 rounds up until the first break, evaluating and figuring it out what they need to change. And then they'll go into that off weekend and probably really dive into some testing, the ones that need to. But yeah, I agree. The speed's coming at you and getting your body used to just the wear and tear that outdoors puts on it.
Right. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, we had a ton of great questions, and that's why I wanted to save some of the questions. We didn't talk as much as probably we wanted to on the 250 and 450 about Paula, just because there was some really good insight there from our viewers and listeners. So thank you for all the support, everybody. That was really good stuff. And of course, Quad Lot question of the week. That is every week. Shifting gears, do a little deep dive into the SMX purse payout. And I want to mention to everyone what a great opportunity it is from the 11th to 22nd place. And here you go. So you know, some of these guys from 11th to 22nd, I mean, 50 grand if you finish 11th, 25,000 if you're 22nd in the SMX World Championship. At the end of it all, after those 3 playoff rounds. And RV, I think that's a great opportunity for a lot of the guys that, especially the privateers that aren't getting monthly checks from manufacturers. And you can see right there, there's the SMX World Championship points as they run right now in the 450 class. So if you're outside the top 20, you are looking out. So Justin Starling, he is seated as it runs right now. Benny Bloss is 1 position out. Jett Lawrence, he is out of the top 20. However, with the win in the 450 class, he is now seated. So What do you like? What do you think of that payout, big dog?
And man, we were speaking about this before the show kicked off, and I'm looking at eighth place, let's say. We like Kevin Moran's. We've seen him Supercross, and I think a couple of best finish around 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th. And I'm looking here at 8th overall here for $100,000. 9th overall for 90,000. So and back to your point, back to 22nd is 25,000, which is phenomenal for those privateers. But the guys that are actually, that I really see, I mean, they all reap the benefits. Don't get me wrong, but like the guys that are just on that cusp of top 10, 11th, 12th, right there, like they're able to make some pretty decent money here. Like I said, 8th place, $100,000, 7th place, 120. Like those are some really nice numbers. I think maybe we should step out a weekend or two.
Yeah, right. So we're looking at the points right now for the people watching on YouTube. You can see what we're talking about, but for our listeners on the podcast, we're seeing top 24 in the 450 class, and of course, like I said, Jett is 25th right now. Now, keep in mind, Jett has said that he is going to do the 450 in the SMX playoff rounds, the 450. That's right. So what's going to be tough for Jett, because he's not going to be able to accumulate probably as many points as, say, a guy like Cooper Webb, Eli Tomac, or Chase Sexton for that matter, maybe Adam Cianciarulo. So he'll go into that first playoff round, maybe seeded 5th or so at best. So that's kind of the negative for him, doing 250 and then racing 450 now completely. His 250 career is done. He'll have a little bit of work to do to make up some points, especially on a guy like Chase Sexton or Justin Barcia. You think about only 3 rounds. There's a lot of work to be done in a short amount of time, but that's what makes it fun. And if there's anybody up for the challenge, I feel it's a guy like Jett, right?
I agree. I think that after just watching Paula and like I said before, watching Jett ride, I think there's only upside coming for the rest of the season. And ultimately, I think his main goal, because of the situation, because of riding Supercross the first part of the season, and now switching to 450, that I think his ultimate goal is to wrap up his first 450 outdoor championship. Now, if he can secure the SMX championship also, which will be definitely a harder thing to achieve because of the point situation and because of riding Supercross in the lights class. I mean, he's going to give himself the best opportunity to do that. But I think goal number one, the box to check, is the 450 championship outdoors. And then he'll be starting Supercross next year on the 450 and working his way in for, if it's, let's say he doesn't win the SMX championship, that'll be the next box to check. I think I'm going to just say it on my part, like the SMX championships is a great platform. It's an amazing payout. I think it keeps the fans really engaged into what they're watching. But I think from Jett's mentality, for me, what I would be thinking about is knocking down that first championship, which would be outdoors. That's super very achievable right now because he's not at a deficit of points for that championship. And I think that's what we see him pushing for. And if he can end up winning the SMX World Championship, then check that box.
And it is the pinnacle of dirt bike racing. It's the championship. It is the pinnacle championship in my mind, 100%, hands down, no question. Both disciplines, Supercross, Motocross, and of course, being the Supercross Motocross combined courses, it's going to be absolutely epic at Charlotte and where is it? Chicago. So it's good stuff. I think that Lee Diffie said something to me. It might have been in East Rutherford RV, but he's like, we didn't realize what the playoff and the point situation looked like early on in the year. But as the Supercross season started to wind down, you started seeing guys like Justin Starling, Kevin Moran's, like the points meant something to them. And then now you take a guy like Chase Sexton, where, dude, it's going to be really good for him and really important for him to continue to do well in this Pro Motocross Championship, to go into those 3 playoff rounds with a little points gap. And now you're starting to see all of that come to fruition. And anytime that there is a change in all sports, I'll use NASCAR for an example. Like, everyone wanted to hate on the race for the Nextel Cup back in the day when they first started it. Now everyone loves it. It's all geared around. It comes down to the championship. You know, it comes down to the playoffs. Now, important it is how highly seeded they want to get and go into the playoffs, dude. We're starting to see, it's like, oh, this works, you know?
It keeps everybody accountable, right? Like,
yeah,
we know that the factory guys, all the factory guys are held accountable by, obviously, the factories, you know, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Gas, all the manufacturers. They hold those guys accountable because they all think they have the best motorcycle. That's why they put Chase on a Honda. That's why they put, you know, these guys in the position. That's why they hired those people for that ride. But now you have the guys that say, that are not on a factory, like you said, that these points are really beneficial to them. If it's the payout, great. If that's what motivates them, that's totally fine too. But it keeps them, number one, fighting instead of just I fell in the first turn, run around in 22nd, I'm just going to pull off, and I'll hit Moto 2. You know, now I think it holds everybody on the line accountable for getting back out there, or, you know, fighting through whatever struggle they're struggling with, and to achieve the highest position going into the SMX rounds points wise, so that they give themselves the best shot at this big purse payout.
Yeah. And those guys didn't, you know, some of the guys from 10th on back didn't realize how much money was on the line. Now they know. So hopefully they're stoked for it. The playoff points reset for SMX playoffs starting in Charlotte. So first overall starts with 25 points. Second has 22 points. Third, 20, et cetera, et cetera. So that's one of the big reasons that Cooper Webb came back. And there you go. You can see that it's working. So good stuff. I'm pumped for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's no doubt. But let's do a little promo. We're going to do promo for this week. A lot happening. Quick rundown of motorsports on this week on NBC. SMX Insider with Weege and JT comes out Thursday at 2 p.m. on YouTube. That's 2. Saturday, round 2 of Pro Motocross starts at 1 p.m. Eastern with Race Day Live. Then Racing from Hangtown gets going at 4 Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Both are on Peacock with post-race shows later on YouTube. Before that, though, check out IMSA's Detroit Grand Prix at 3 on USA. Then on Sunday, the NTT IndyCar Series is back after that wild Indy 500, but this time racing in the streets of Detroit. And Bud, did you have a chance to see the Indy 500? It was.
Yes. So I think I didn't start the whole race, but I caught. I mean, by the way, there was a lot of racing this weekend.
Yeah.
It's a Coca-Cola. What was it? Coca-Cola.
Yeah, the 600.
Or 600, yeah, and then IndyCar. But yes, I was able to watch.
Did you see tire? Did you see that?
Yeah, dude. Like,
I don't know if we're even allowed to talk about that, but
I can tell you that
what?
Those fans were being looked over above, because, man, if that tire would have went into the stands, it would have been really catastrophic. You know, like that doesn't happen very often. You know,
dude, that's what that gnarly catch fence for is. Like, yeah. To your point, there was a higher power. There was divine intervention, is what that was.
It was, and
I saw that going. Like, I saw it happening live. I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't happening. And
the owner of the car, it looks like the owner of the rental car, or whoever's car that thing smashed into the hood of, looks like it. I was told got to kiss the bricks.
Wow!
After that, yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So I guess normally that's only for the winners of the Indy 500 guys. So if you get your front of your car smashed by a front tire, you get to kiss the bricks also.
You know what? I think I'd rather be okay with not kissing the bricks under those circumstances. But yeah, I mean, you imagine, I mean, oh, dude, if that thing would have went in the stands, I mean, those tires are heavy. It was going extremely fast. So thank goodness that everyone was safe. okay. But yeah, it was a wild weekend. And that, dude, they kept having those red flags. I'm like, I knew it was going to just be mass chaos at the end right there in the pack racing. But nevertheless,
and then coming down to NASCAR too, I think that they were debating also about what was 3 to go or 2 to go, and they had a red flag, and they were going to maybe do a restart or just have it finished out. And good on them for the fans doing it for. I don't know what the actual rules are in that situation, but I would hate to see a yellow caution all the way around and then have it finish out with the yellow caution. So they regridded them, pulled them into the pit area and then let them go for 3 laps. So that was good to see. It was all balls to the wall those last 3 laps in the 600 too.
That's right. Well, Hangtown, I always liked riding Hangtown. Hangtown was always fun for me. As far as what I'm looking forward to, a lot of the same. I think that we are going to see we're going to be treated to some great battles between the 2 Honda teammates in the 450 class, as far as the guys outside of Chase and Jett. I mean, there are still a lot of great opportunities for Webb, for AP, for Dylan. Those guys are no slouches. Everyone, don't sleep on their skills. So I'm looking forward to see how it's going to be. I think it's going to be a game of it's a mental game at this point. In the 250, we already talked about it. A lot to look forward to between the front runners and those 4th to 11th place, dude. It's going to be an epic battle. It's still early in the season to really be stamping a whole lot of people outside of the top 2, in my opinion. What do you think?
It is. I think it's early in the season, and I think with Chase's second moto there, I think if you would have had 2 first motos, or the first moto like Jett had, if Jett would have been able to repeat that in Moto 2, maybe some a blow to Chase's confidence. But I see now that Chase was able to hang on to Jett's coattails really close till the checkered flag in that second moto. I think now that carrot now is even bigger in front of Chase. And why I say that is because, like I said, if it would have went down like first moto, would have happened second moto, then I think the balloon would be a little deflated for him. But now I think that it's very achievable. He knows that he can run that pace with Jett, and he showed it in the second moto. Just wasn't enough. But I think with these other tracks coming up, I think we definitely could see some swaps in the moto finishes.
There you go. I think it's going to be a lot to look forward to. Are you going?
I am going up to Hangtown. Yes, I will be there.
Sweet. Well, all right, dude. That's another one. It was a good one. To all of our viewers, listeners, thank you very much for all your support, all your questions, man. This was a good one this week. Hey, remember, please subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. We're on all podcast applications, or you can watch it on Motorsports on NBC, their YouTube page, Peacock as always, and it's on demand on Peacock. So pretty cool. You can go on there. And then, like I said, your favorite applications. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. We're also on Instagram. And if you got some questions too, hit up RV on his Instagram,
That's
myself as well. We love the interaction. You guys are what makes it fun for us. And again, our great sponsors, United Motorsports, Quad Lock Case, and Boxo USA. We appreciate you guys, RV. We're going to have a darn good week. It's going to be a short week since we recorded today on Tuesday, but nevertheless, keep, like I said, we appreciate the support, listening and watching, and keep that interaction going. So RV, we'll do it again next week, my friend.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.